Welcome back to Jules Math Tools. In our session today, we are defining what is the cube root. And if you're ready, let's get started. So what is the cube root? So the cube root is the number that we multiply to itself to get our cube number as its product. And when it comes to our cube root symbol, I want you to take note that this symbol is very similar to our square root. However, the difference is that there's a small 3 that's in front of this symbol. So whenever you are looking at these two symbols side by side, just make note that the square root does not have the small 3, only the cube root does. So let's look at an example. Here we have the cube root of 64. Now this root with the 3 in front of it, this is our cube root symbol. And underneath our cube root, we have 64. 64 is our cube number. This was the number that we got as our product after a number was raised to the power of 3 and then multiplied by itself 3 times. 64 was its product. Remember that product is the answer to a multiplication. And if you think of your numbers that were raised to the power of 3, 4 is the only number that when raised to the power of 3, and you multiply by itself 3 times would give you 64 as its product or as its cube number. So as a result, our cube root will equal to 4 because this is the number when raised to the power of 3 that got 64 as its cube number. So let's review. Remember that your cube root is the number that is multiplied to itself to get the number that was your cube number as its product. So in our example of the cube root of 64, we found that our cube root for 64 is the number 4. I remember that 4 was the number when raised to the power of 3, or our cube number, that we got 64 as its product. So as a result, 64 would be our cube number and 4 would be the cube root of 64. So notice the relationship between these two numbers. Okay, so I hope this definition helped you with being able to identify the difference between your cube root and your cube number. Even though both of them have a close-knit relationship, there is a difference between the two. So make sure that you practice some more cube and cube root numbers so that you can tell the difference between the two. And when you're ready to learn more about your different types of numbers, make sure to return back to Jules Math Tools, where we aim to make math easy.